Joining us now is Tami Pyfer, the co-creator of the Dignity Index, a tool designed to measure the level of dignity or contempt in political speech and public discourse. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you once said the pandemic revealed a secondary infection of contempt and division here in the US. What do you see happening in Utah and across the country that pushed you into this work?
So I think what we're seeing in the country is a rise in the rhetoric that we're using that a lot of people don't understand is rhetoric that leads to violence, that leads to political violence, that leads to division, that sows division, and that continues. The pandemic did reveal that for us. And people don't understand that they are part of the problem. I'm part of the problem. If I don't watch my thoughts and my words and what I say to people, that reveals maybe hidden contempt versus what we call the dignity in everyone.
And I want to ask you about that dignity index. What exactly does it measure and what's the current trend?
So the dignity index is a scale. It goes from 1 to 8. It's a simple tool that we use. This is it right here. And it measures the language that we use in disagreement when we're in conflict with each other. It's not meant to measure everything, but it measures the level of dignity or contempt in that language. Phrases like, those people are ruining everything. That's low. That's on the contempt side of the scale. Phrases like, everyone belongs. I want to hear what you have to say. Those are on the dignity side of the scale. When we're able to talk with people who think differently than we are and ask questions and be curious and admit that maybe we have something to learn, we're rising up on the dignity scale. How are we doing? It depends on the situation. Right now, as you can see in America, we're struggling. Yeah. And I would say we're not doing so well on the dignity index.
You know, the US president was asked today about what can be done to bring the country together. I just want to play some sound.
How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. The radicals on the left are the problem, and they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy.
So how would you rate that on the dignity scale?
So on the dignity index, when you start name calling, you are on the contempt side of the scale. You're on the lower side of the scale. You get down to a 4 as the first step in contempt. I would probably rate that a 3 on the dignity index. The 3 says that we're the good people and they're the bad people. That's a 3. And if I were to give you my quick rating of that, I would rate that a 3. I think the thing that's important to remember, though, is that we all have the capacity and we all find ourselves in situations where we use this language. We like to talk with people about checking ourselves first. The index is designed to rate speech, and we designed it actually to rate political speech. And we started to use the scale. We quickly realized that we were seeing ourselves in a lot of the language.
And of course, you've worked closely with Republicans and Democrats. How do you help these leaders and citizens move from contempt to curiosity when they feel morally outraged or afraid?
Yes. You know, that's a beautiful question. And the thing is that when you start to work with the index, contempt, when we use it, we can't see that we're using it. We don't feel like we're that person. We're not those people using contempt. But when you start to work with the index and learn the language, all of a sudden you start to see contempt, and then it becomes hard to use it because you don't want to be that person. And when you realize these phrases that are actually contemptuous, you stop using the contempt and you find better ways to work with someone across the aisle or to have a disagreement. We don't ask people to give up their passion or their politics or their views. We just ask people to speak in a different way with those people with whom they disagree.
Yeah, essentially have respect for different points of views. Tami Pyfer, we appreciate your time and the work you're doing. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.